Only Murders in the Building Season 4's ending wrapped up the mystery of Sazz Pataki's tragic death, all while teasing what will come next for the show's central trio. Only Murders in the Building's cast features Selena Gomez as Mabel, Martin Short as Oliver, and Steve Martin as Charles, three previously lonely true crime fanatics who came together to investigate a series of murders that took place within the titular building, the Arconia. Only Murders in the Building Season 3's ending saw Sazz Pataki, Charles' former stunt double and best friend, killed, setting the stage for Season 4's story. In Only Murders in the Building Season 4, the trio investigates the many mysterious elements of Sazz's death. Amid Only Murders in the Building's setting change and the possibility that all three main characters are being targeted, the twists and turns that presented themselves made Sazz's murder not only the most personal yet but also the most complex. Eventually, the case led to the season finale, which saw a murderer unmasked and killed, another arrested, a new arrival, and a wedding that ended with a fresh body to tease Only Murders in the Building Season 5. Who killed Sazz? Only Murders in the Building Season 4's killer identity and motives explained. Sazz's murderer was in plain sight the whole time. The ending of Only Murders in the Building Season 4 revealed who was responsible for the murder of Sazz. After many theorized suspects and multiple red herrings, the trio uncovered that it was the screenwriter of the in-universe movie adaptation of the show's titular podcast who killed Sazz. It was revealed that the screenwriter in question, going under the alias Marshall P. Pope, was originally a stuntman named Rex Bailey who learned everything he knew from Sazz. However, Rex's true dream was to be a famous Hollywood writer. A series of flashbacks revealed that Rex's dream was moving further out of reach, culminating in an incident involving him accidentally setting director Ron Howard on fire. After Sazz became inspired by Charles' podcast and wrote a script adapting it into a movie, she showed it to Rex in confidence. Jealous of the innate writing talent Sazz possessed that he does not, Rex kept her script and sold it to various Hollywood studios under the aforementioned alias. Sazz found out about Rex's betrayal and threatened to expose him by telling Charles, and then Bev Mellon of Paramount Pictures, everything. Rex then used his hunting background, stuntman skills, and elements from Sazz's script to orchestrate her murder. This boiled down to Rex shooting Sazz from the west building of the Arconia and incinerating her, leading directly into the investigation and Only Murders in the Building's guest star-filled story. Jan's return in Only Murders in the Building Season 4 and what it means for future seasons. The trio is saved by an unlikely person. Only Murders in the Building Season 4's ending sees Mabel, Charles, and Oliver either deducing or being told this story by Rex himself. However, the killer gains the upper hand on them and threatens to shoot them to cover his tracks. As the trio prepares for death, Rex is shot in the back from across the courtyard. Tracing the bullet back to Charles' apartment, they realize that Jan, Season 1's killer, was hiding in the tunnels around the Arconia until Sazz's murder was figured out upon hearing of the showdown in the Dudenoff apartment and that Rex was the killer. Jan exited the tunnels and scoped out the point of interest. After seeing Rex holding the trio at gunpoint, Jan shoots him as a way of avenging Sazz's murder. This was set up earlier in Only Murders in the Building Season 4, with Jan breaking out of prison to avenge Sazz as the two were in a relationship. Jan was then arrested, returning to prison and teeing her up for future Only Murders in the Building cameos should Charles need her aid once more. How Sazz's killer conducted their crimes in only 12 minutes. The timeline of Sazz's murder explained. One of the bigger mysteries of Only Murders in the Building Season 4 was how the killer conducted the murder in only 12 minutes. Charles deduced that the time between Sazz leaving for his apartment in Only Murders in the Building Season 3 and the power surge caused by the incinerator that burned her body being turned on was only 12 minutes. As such, the trio began to wonder how the culprit could kill Sazz, get to Charles' apartment from the west tower of the Arconia, clean the crime scene, and burn Sazz's body in such a short time. After their initial theory that two people were behind the murder reaches a dead end, they learn from Rex's past how it was possible. Given that Rex has a history as a well-trained stuntman, he used the ledge that runs around the outside of the Arconia that surrounds the courtyard to reach Charles' apartment from the west tower in little to no time. This gave him a lot more time to clean Charles' kitchen and dispose of Sazz's body, revealing how the 12-minute timeline panned out. The importance of Professor Dudenoff and the West ties to Only Murders in the Building Season 4 explained. Who were Only Murders' new characters? For the majority of Only Murders in the Building Season 4, a new group of characters were positioned as the main suspects for Sazz's murder. Only Murders in the Building's West ties, dubbed as such due to their residence in the West Tower of the titular building, were initially introduced as highly unusual people, eventually revealed as Alfonso, Inez, Anna, Vince Fish, and Rudy. As it turns out, the Westies were great additions to Only Murders in the Building's cast and turned out to be integral to Sazz's murder investigation for different reasons than first thought. It was eventually revealed that the Westies were friends of Professor Dudenhoff, the man who owned the empty apartment from which Sazz was shot. The Westies were illegal tenants, renting apartments from Dudenhoff at a much reduced price due to their friendship with him. After some time, Dudenhoff was diagnosed with a terminal illness and died by suicide, but not before fabricating a plan with the Westies that led others to think he was alive in Portugal. Although this plot was a red herring and not tied to Sazz's murder outside of Dudenhoff's apartment, it led to the introduction of Helga. The Westies hid Dudenhoff's fate from Helga, who had lost her father as a child, leading her to Only Murders in the Building's trio. Helga told Mabel, Charles, and Oliver that Sazz used the Westies' radio to talk to Helga about elements from her script that Rex eventually used to orchestrate her murder. Furthermore, Helga told the trio that Sazz told her about Rex, stating he was dangerous and would be the death of her. This information is what puts the trio on the path to figuring out Rex was the killer, highlighting the importance of Dudenhoff and the Westies. Why Loretta and Oliver's ending could mean big changes for Only Murders in the Building Season 5. Loretta's future in the show may be in doubt. Only Murders in the Building Season 4 ended with Loretta and Oliver getting married, which alone could change the dynamic of future seasons. More so than this, though, Loretta revealed that her new show is filming in New Zealand and she and Oliver would have to start their marriage as a long-distance relationship. This could change Meryl Streep's future on Only Murders in the Building, potentially meaning that Loretta will not have as big a role going forward.